Hey YouTube, welcome back to the channel. As the thumbnail says, I bought a new daily. Check this out.
She's a duck's guts.
Alright, so before we get stuck into the Type-R, thought I'd give you a little bit of background on my current daily. You've probably seen that in the channel from our track days and all the rest of it. And it's something that's been, served me really well over the last 4 years. Here it is here. It's a 2017 Toyota Hilux dual cab. And I've put ARB lift kit, Old Man Emu suspension in it. Got a full bar work and all the rest of it. And it's been a treat, and good spotlights of a night time. Great for carting around semi-slick tyres and tools and all the rest of it. And this is our dedicated tow vehicle now, because we've got a go-kart to tow around, and also we'll get a car trailer for our race cars, such as Black Betty here. We'll definitely need something to tow that around. So 140,000 kilometres is, not a huge amount on a diesel engine, particularly when we've been looking after it and servicing it all the time. But I just can't keep putting 20, 30,000 Ks a year on that car and expect us to go for another 5 years. So we're going to semi-take it off the road, and therefore I needed a new daily driver. Okay, so when I was looking at getting a new daily driver, I had a few options. The Type-R wasn't the only option I had out there, but so the options I had to rule out straight away was buying, either another Holden, can't buy them anymore, anyway, brand new, but, either a second-hand HSV or maybe a Redline. Already got two V8s. They both turned into race cars, and I knew what happened if I bought another one. I just modified that too. So the idea was to not be tempted. As tempting as either a new Camaro or a really low kilometre Redline. I just couldn't, Mrs. Fred said no, so that meant I couldn't do that. The other options that sort of rule themselves out were the Euros. Mrs. Fred's got the S5. Didn't really want another Audi, to be honest. And then the only other options around there were maybe a Golf R or something like that. But there's only one Mandalorian in the universe. You can't have more than one that. So then I started looking at cars that really fit my criteria. So driver engagement, good power, something I can put a heap of kilometres on but have fun doing it. So the short list was pretty short actually. It was either a STI, Subaru, or it was a Type-R, like what we ended up getting. Toyota 86, some people might think that's a little bit left field. And then, one that lasted on the list for about 2 seconds was the Yaris. So I just couldn't bring myself to look at that Yaris. As capable as it is, and a lot of people have bought them and they're doing some good times around Wakefield, I just can't warm to that engine or that style. So when I looked at the Type-R, I had two options. Do I wait for the new 2022 or 2023 model that's coming out and in the process put a heap more Ks on the Hilux? So I didn't really want to do that. So where I landed was, let's get a really nice, low kilometre, well-maintained current model Type-R. And, it's a bit of a known then. So this one came up, 2018, one owner, low Ks, I had to get it. See, here she is in all her glory. She's black. So I've got two black cars now, but in awesome condition. Really well looked after and maintained. Low kilometres for its age, being 2018, it's only got 30,000 on it. And we'll go through all the specs in it when we go for a drive and show you a look. But she's pretty cool. And we're really happy so far. And, we've also got another Civic in the garage as well, being Fred Jr.'s car. But obviously he can't drive. And he's just got his Ps, he can't drive a turbocharged car. So, but I can. So that's all good. Let's go for a drive. So just before we go for a drive, take you through some first impressions here. The first thing you'll notice, it's the cabin. It's a really nice spot to be. It's very race inspired. It's got an awesome seating position. A lot of people comment that I sit far too close to the steering wheel. Well, don't worry, there's no risk of that in this particular car. In fact, look at my elbows and arms. Perfect driving position. Head's not hitting the roof, don't worry about that. But it's all good. Really nice appointments in here. Same infotainment system as the other Civics as well. But where things get a little bit different is you start to get a bit more interactive driver instrumentation around the tacho. You've got your different race modes as well. So you've got comfort, sport, and R, and R mode transforms everything in the car, from the way the dampeners are set up to throttle response and power output too. So pretty cool Alcantara seats, nice bucket design here, and yeah, and you can tell from the back as well, visibility's still really good. Even though it's got that monstrous bat wing on the back, you can still see out the back, so that's pretty important. But we'll go for a bit of a drive, show you around, and I'll start talking about this awesome engine, VTEC power. So it's when you're actually driving this car in a spirited way, that's when this car really comes to life. So let's go for a bit of a spin up here. The first thing you'll notice as well is that it's actually very quiet in here, and even when you do approach 8,000 RPM, it's all good. Frankie has made a couple of observations that whilst it's a sports exhaust, it does need a more fruitier note. I tend to agree with Frankie on that point, but that's all good. However, there is one point about this car, and that is I want to try to keep it as stock as I can, because actually all the components that come with the car stock are actually pretty bloody good. So, you know, what's the point of actually throwing new rotors and pads and all that sort of stuff when actually the car stock is actually quite capable? So, you know, so what's the point of actually spending money, you know, when you've already got a really good platform to work with? The star of this engine, the star of the car, sorry, is this engine. So it's a 2-litre turbocharged VTEC Honda K motor. Now these things are very exotic. There's a channel called Engineering Explained which does a whole preview on, you know, deep dive on the engine, sodium filled valves, forged crank, forged conrods, oil squirters in the pistons. It's seriously Formula 1 technology in this thing. And this rev matching, which is awesome, you know, it makes you feel like Ayrton Senna every day of the week. Because the other thing is, you know, when you heel and toe, as much as, you know, good fun it is and all the rest of it, this rev matching means that you never stuff up, you never miss the pedal, and the rev matching is perfect. I haven't locked the front up once yet, and it's not more than I can say for the Hyundai or the VE Ute. I've done that many a time. So having automatic rev matching is actually something that's quite cool. So that's the engine, 306 horsepower, bucket load of torque, and with VTEC it works on the exhaust only, so there's no VTEC on the inlet. And for those of you that don't know about VTEC, there's a separate cam that gets activated from about, it feels like about 3,500 to 4,000, then it actually actuates that new cam profile, gets more of those exhaust gases out of there. Doesn't need it on the inlet, like other K motors where it's got it on both. Suspension, handling, whilst they're not coilovers, they're seriously capable. Magnetic ride dampeners, again, they adjust to the driving mode in the car. Got it on soft, softens them down heaps. Got it on R like we are at the moment, and she's pretty stiff and firm. But you know, it's not bone jarring, but it's and probably not at the level that you get with you know, some coilovers. But that's something that we're not looking to upgrade at this point in time. Brakes, as I mentioned, got 4-spot Brembos up front, cross drilled rotors, which look pretty good. They've gone away from those in the 2021 model Civic Type-Rs. So this is a 2018, so we've got the drilled rotors, and only one spot was on the back. And they seem alright, they've got Brembo stock pads, so probably not the best for a track day, but for everyday driving, they're pretty cool. As I mentioned, the seats and the rest of the driver engagement, steering wheel, shift knob, and inside it's actually a pretty cool place to be. I've got no complaints, you know, and driving position, as I mentioned, you know, feels comfortable, feels touch racy, Alcantara, feels very nice, and I can seriously see myself using this as a daily, and not getting a headache from, you know, loudspeakers and all those other mods that I've talked about not doing to your car. Having said that, I've made one fatal mistake, and I've gone against what I've talked about in my video about worse mods, and I've got 20-inch wheels. And I know I said that's a bad thing to do, but this car came stock with 20s. One thing I did do though, I upgraded the rubber when I bought the car. So it came with, I think that comes standard with Continentals, but I've gone with some Michelin Pilot Sport 4S's, and they're very capable. So they're good, you know, and I've got them on Fred Jr.'s car too, and no complaints with them either. steer a couple of times. You probably saw a little bit back there too. It comes to the territory. This is the fastest front-wheel drive car in the ring. It is seriously capable in a straight line. It doesn't have that off-the-line grunt that you might get with some of those other four-wheel drive platforms in the Evos. But look, I'm not a drag racer. I'm a circuit guy. I'm all about cornering and actually having a daily that's going to have not lots of driver engagement with me. I'm not about to start racing people off the lights and having fun with all the Jemmy boys. So that's not me. Only other dislike, I don't think there is any, if I'm honest. Like this thing's cool. I've always wanted a Type-R, and yeah, as I mentioned, when it's time to sort of upgrade your daily, check them out. So I hope you enjoyed that little drive there. It's good fun, this little car. Star of the show is definitely this motor. A very interesting intake on these things here. But that's it there. It's a little 2-litre 4-cylinder. Turbo's mounted at the front here. And the other star of the car is definitely this handling and these Brembos. They stop on a dime. Big, I think, you know, they're almost the same size Brembos as we've got on the VF Redline. So for a car that weighs, you know, 1,400 kilos, that's pretty cool. So that's where the comparisons between a Honda and a Holden will stop. I'm going to get a heap of hate mail. Fred, you've changed, man. You've been this Tirana-loving, you know, Commodore 7-litre blown LS-powered guy, and now you're racing around in a 4-banger. Horses for courses. That's my daily. I'm still a petrol head at heart. I'm still building LS motors and building, you know, horsepower monsters. This thing's just my daily from me to get around and not put Ks on my tow car. So hope you understand, and hopefully one day you'll see that Type-R out on a track. John Boston did a 104 at Wakefield, and that is seriously quick in the little Type-R. On that note, don't do it for Dub, do it for Rocky. Catch you later.